Welcome to Mike's amateur hour of recording because Byron's being salty.
Listen, you're not wrong. I spent all day rebuilding my diagnostic server at work, and I come home, and nobody's got food ready for me because, well, that would be weird, to be honest.
That'd be very weird. Some woman broke into your house and made you dinner.
Did you get in the window, or...
Do you call the police at that point, or have you found your soulmate? I mean, that's the
I
question.
don't know, depends.
Anyways, Byron is salty, with reason, but he is salty. And we're
Not
here to
salty, no, I'm just underappreciated, and nobody loves me.
We're here to do the final F3 round from Slovakia Ring. I actually really, really like this track and think it's highly, highly underrated. I'm not really going anywhere with that, I'm just making a statement.
I would like to reveal to the world that I know Vinnie Roberts' deep, dark secret.
That he's Welsh?
That he's Welsh. As they say in Wales, what business it is of yours?
Didn't he admit that to, like, the public?
Yeah, pretty much. Right there on Discord. In public. I couldn't believe it.
Anyways, current top 10, Mike Staubmill, Vinnie Roberts, Martin Edmonds, Josiah Jerome up in P4. Look at that. Travis Wallace, Enrique Herva, Sean Kenny, Dominic Dornenberg, Nathan Edward, and Andy Blade.
1-0 to the Mean Machine. Oh, second place to the Mean Machine.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of Castrol edges actually in the top 10. They got 4 top 10 cars for this race.
Not too bad.
Completely absent from the grid is Team Samsung, which I'm not at all happy about because I'm on that team.
Well, maybe you, sir, should just drive faster and win all the races.
I mean, that would be nice. But I said I wasn't coming. The rest of my team was supposed to be there.
Drunks, all of them.
Could be the drugs. Could be the booze. For me, it was a football game.
Blame it on a football game.
Also, in fairness, I went to the football game to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I got to pick up my order from the Tie Cat store, which was a pair of custom jerseys for my cousin and his expecting wife. They had their favorite numbers on them, and they were Papa Greer and Mama Greer. And they were very,
nice.
very pleased by that gesture.
Did both of them have number 69 on them?
No, 14 and 19.
Was that how old they were when they got married?
Nope.
Just asking the questions people want to know, Tom.
He was 30...
Not asking for real info.
30?
You're going to dox these people.
The info does them no good if you don't know how long they were married for.
But listen, you want to tell me their social insurance numbers?
I don't know them. Anyways, we're off. Actually, I do know them. But it's because I do their taxes.
Oh, yeah, I should get those done.
Anyways, Mike Stockmill off in the lead there for the Exide battery team. Not a lot of Exide cars on the grid, and he's already way out in front. What the hell?
Team Explode Batteries.
Vinnie Roberts, get your shit together and get off the line, my friend, because you've let the Dutchman go flying out there in the lead. Anyways, it is Roberts, Edmund, Wallace, Josiah Jerome, Enrique Hervas, Sean Kenny, who we were playing Sean Kenny's mom earlier today.
That is ludicrous and accurate.
It is very accurate. You could blame Martin, Sean.
Correct.
I mean, you can blame us. I'm not shirking this in any way. I just want to make sure Martin gets his thing too.
Leave comment in the description below or whatever.
Comments. Anyways,
I don't want to say comment twice.
Enrique Hervas. I like the boss car cockpit view actually. It's very the black and red is very cool. Not a big fan from the TV cam though, as one of the ST suspension cars gets very deep in there. I believe that was Josiah Jerome, who is going backwards through the field. He's down to 6th position with teammate Sean Kenny for company. And then it is the Castrol Edge car of Dominic Dornenberg, who I think is the top Castrol car at the moment. But I could be... No, it's Vinnie Roberts, what am I thinking? Second Castrol Edge car.
I'd like to congratulate myself on interrogating one of our racers so I can finally pronounce his name correctly.
He is not in this race, though. I do not.
He is not, so I don't get to say it out loud unless I really want to.
I mean, you could.
That's gonna be
I'm not gonna stop.
I might do it, might not.
Indeed. Well, actually, continuing my weird encounters with racing, I was on a server today And, of course, I had told you about the Saponges driver, which we assume is related to Saponges. Today, I had a Brazilian driver, and you'll never guess what his name was.
Silva?
It was Magalhães! Travis Wallace going down the inside of Martin Edmonds to take third place there, and also the top admin spot in ESR at the moment in this particular race. And Martin might be coming back at him there for the ST suspension team against the boss car of Travis Wallace. By the way, top 4 are all actually different teams. That's kind of neat.
Sounds like somebody's cheating.
Well, we're supposed to have relatively balanced teams here. You know who's doing actually kind of poorly, because he's been doing really, really well in this series. Eric Friesen down there in 9th place. A little surprised at that. And as I say that, he just plows past Andy Blade.
Andy Blade way too high in the grid. He's not at his customary 13th spot.
Indeed. Dominic Dornenberg looking to get around Josiah Jerome. Josiah is kind of in free fall. Qualified in 4th place. Has dropped back to 6th, and he might be dropping further. You can see Andy Blade fighting in the background with Eric Friesen, who we just mentioned. And rounding off the top 10 is Wesley Stokes in the ST space. Oh, someone getting very out of shape there. I believe that was John Barker.
A little out of shape, and he's going to lose a couple of spots there to Jesse Hampton and James Boutelier. By the way, James Boutelier may be getting promoted to Division 2.
Ooh,
tantalizing.
Mm-hmm. So making his way up in the world. This makes him officially a better driver than me.
Well, I mean, it's all mine.
That's a lie. You are better than me at tanks and Rocket League. That's about it.
These are true statements of fact. I'm also better than you at CSGO.
I don't play it, so yeah, I'll give you that.
Well, I've played at least 3 hours of it now, so I mean, I'm pretty good.
I played it way back in the day, but I have no idea where my skills would be now. You know,
yeah, it's weird to be quite frank and honest. The guns are not accurate, and you have to like kind of cheat the system to make it hit targets.
It's kind of one of those shooters that always ends up coming up at LAN parties and stuff. So like, you know, I played it, but really.
Yeah, it's one of the guys at work. He's played like 2,000 hours of it. He's like, he took me aside while we were getting killed. He's like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. You can't
Travis getting really wide there, or Martin got really, really tight to that corner. I don't know which.
I'm gonna go with Martin really tried to teabag him.
Well, it's Wallace is hung on for now. By the way, Vinnie Roberts now up on the back of. Oh, actually, no. Martin has gotten past him, so Travis down to 3rd or down to 4th. I was going to say Vinnie Roberts has actually caught up nicely to Mike Stockmill, so maybe Stockmill won't run away with this. Do we have any idea what the ballast Stockmill was carrying? Are we up to like 130 kilos or something?
I think he has to carry 3 ponies and a child.
I mean, probably.
And half the water in Holland.
Interesting to see that Enrique Hervas really seems a lot faster than the 2 cars ahead of him there. He's the 3rd car in line at the battle that we're looking at right now. That's the additional boss car. Catching up really, really well in some of the higher paced corners, but losing the ground on the straightaways. I wonder if that's could be a downforce differential between the cars.
Could be. I think Martin probably has all the downforce in the world activated, which is why his tires melt off.
That would help his tires, if anything. Speaking of which, Travis looking to get around Mr. Martin Edmonds. Trying to look up the inside there. Can't get it quite done.
Or can he?
No, he can. He can. It's going to turn to the inside, though, here at the next corner from Martin. Can Martin get it back? Interesting side-by-side here as we approach the start-finish line. Can Travis get down the... Travis has not given up on it yet. He's still there. You can see Enrique Hervas in the background. Can Travis go down the inside? He's got it! Travis... No, but he's fading it wide. Can Martin get him back? That's what I like about Slovakia Ring. There's a lot of opportunities to pass on this track. A lot of great stuff for some tight fighting. Although Dominic Dornenberg, I think, has been in the wars. He's way down at the back there. He was in the top 10, so I don't know what happened to him.
I was told that this was Slovakia Ring and there would be snacks.
I don't think he wants Slovakian cuisine.
Slovakian souvlaki?
They do such a thing. Pretty much all of Eastern Europe. Oh, drive-through penalty, speaking of the pit lane for Dominic Dornenberg. So it looks like he went in the pits and forgot his pit lane speed limiter. So this has become a pretty bad race all of a sudden for Dominic Dornenberg. We'll see if he can make a comeback. Martin Edmonds trying to get back past Travis Wallace. Who you got in this fight? You've got the Canadian master of the poutine or Grommet Possum Dough?
I was going to say, based on his sponsorship from PossumGrommets.com, I have to say that Travis Wallace has the money to get past and get the job done.
Interesting line there by Martin. Very different line than Travis heading into that corner. Looked like, or either that or just a lunge, maybe. I don't know. Eric Friesen has worked his way up to 6th place, so his poor qualifying effort has not hampered him in the race. He's him and Wesley Stokes are also moving up pretty nicely there. Unfortunately, Josiah Jerome down to 11th position, so things are not great for our Caribbean driver.
He is experiencing a tropical depression.
Indeed, 7 spots behind where he qualified. Not a good day.
He's trying to get himself down into Andy Blade territory for position number 13.
Well, Andy's up in 7th, which is stunning. In fact, there he is. Speaking of Andy Blade, he's on the tail of Eric.
There is the man himself. This is the guy that was racing while chatting on the YouTube video yesterday and chatting in Discord at the same time. It was pretty weird. I think he's paying people to race for him. So
multitasking in the extreme. I mean, that would explain his 7th place at the moment. Maybe it's Mr. 7th place himself, Paul, Rick, and Benny in the car.
Could be.
As the a lot of good battles going on right now, though. There's pretty much everyone's in a fight. Andy looking down the inside of Eric Friesen. I don't think you're gonna. Oh, well, okay. Eric went wide, so he does indeed get it done. Andy Blade up into 6th position. Good job, Andy. Martin Edmonds still on the trail of Mr. Travis Wallace. He has yet to find a way back past into 3rd place. Enrique Hervas on his tail, so he's in a boss bread sandwich.
The boss.
Black Forest ham mustard sandwich. There you go. On white bread.
Yeah, I guess.
And further back, looked like somebody moved there for a second, but could not tell you who. Oh man, Josiah's back to 14th place. I need to look at Josiah's car. Is he driving with damage or something? Because he is dropping like an absolute stone.
Well, you see, Josiah decided he's going to play hit to pass, and it might not work out for him.
Well, it could be that he had an incident with Dominic Dornenberg, because of course Dornenberg was around him when he went in the pit lane, so that's why I would like to see if Josiah is just carrying damage.
Well, I mean, everybody's got a little personal tragedy. I'm sure he's no different.
That's true. This is a multiple pit stop race, so I don't know. Maybe he's trying to soldier through it, try to get to the first pit stop and do a fuel and damage stop. Not entirely certain that that's tremendously advisable. By the way, Andy Blade's actually holding off Eric Friesen pretty well there in 6th place. Actually has a little bit of separation. So, go Andy. Meanwhile, at the front, things have stabilized at about 1.4 seconds between Mike Stockmill and Vinnie Robert.
I disagree. Okay, I agree.
I was going to say, would you care to elaborate?
No, not at all.
Oh, Travis getting really, really defensive there, taking the inside line. Can he hold it there? Or can Martin get down the inside? And the answer is no. Martin will be held off for now. This is letting the top 2 get away, so Travis's hopes at victory are kind of a bit weakened by this. By the way, Eric Friesen in the background has gotten back past Andy Blade. Andy Blade going back on the attack here. Castrol Motorsports versus Exide Batteries. All the explosions and all the mess all the time.
Big greasy explosion.
Mm-hmm. But for the time being, Eric Friesen's going to hang on to that position. And in the background there, you can see Wesley Stokes, our Assetto Corsa Competizione administrator, trying to get up there. By the way, good to see Wesley back on the track. He had some serious back problems, something you do know a thing or two about. And
yeah,
it made racing a bit uncomfortable for our American compatriot.
Yeah, I could dig on that. I mean, really the way you want to do it is just lay flat on your back and race anyway.
Mm-hmm. Andy Blade still trying to get around. I was going to say trying to get around Eric Friesen, but he's actually lost ground, and it's Wesley Stokes who's now definitively on the attack. Can Wesley get the job done? He's got the outside line here, a much better line, and he's got the position for the time being, but it's going to turn into the inside of this turn. Andy trying to get around, but Wesley making it stick along the outside of that curve, doing a great job there for ST Suspension.
Maybe.
And trying to wonder who the other Exide car in the background is. That might be James Butler. Just trying to remember their team lineup. Andy Blade has gotten back past Wesley Stokes, and we were not looking at it at the time, which is a bit shameful. And Stokes, can we go back to the Wesley Stokes Andy Blade battle? Like, they're changing positions every corner. I would like to watch that personally. And I got my wish. We ride on board with Andy Blade as he's trying to hold it around the outside of Wesley Stokes there. Stokes in the ST Suspension car, the yellow and black car, getting it done on this particular occasion.
Through laws of traffic state, you have to have at least 3 car lengths for safety reasons. This is far too close.
far too close for comfort. Martin Edmonds, by the way, speaking of close, all over the back of Travis Wallace's Opossum car. Can he turn opossums into a source of fuel? Because, I mean, that would probably be friendlier to the environment.
You ain't heard of possum juice?
And indeed, they am correct. The third Exide car is James Butler, who is all over the back end of Jesse Hamptown Race's Sing This Song.
Doo-da.
There you go. Josiah Jerome's drop has seemingly stopped. He's more or less keeping up with John Barker, so I honestly don't know what to make of the performance of Josiah Jerome so far, as Andy Blade all over the back of Wesley Stokes trying to find a way around at every corner, and this is letting Eric Friesen kind of disappear up the road, so it's all good for the Exide battery Canadian driver. And it is still going to be Stokes for the time being, holding 7, but Andy Blade's coming down the inside.
No.
But Stokes has held it around the outside of that curve before and does so again, retaining 7th place over Andy Blade. And in the background, James Butler has overtaken Jesse Hamptown Races. Andy looking to the inside there at turn 1. Jesse Hampton looking to the inside there at turn 1 as the two Castrol cars try to replicate each other's moves. Andy's is successful. I don't think Jesse's will be, though. We're currently being held by Butler, still there in 9th position. James Butler, one of your favorites, Byron.
Indeed, he does buttle around quite nicely.
It looks like Eric Friesen may have made a mistake, because Wesley Stokes and Andy Blade are all over the Exide battery car, and we're thinking about going 3 wide there for a second. Andy's still trying to get down the inside of Eric Friesen, but it's worked for him. He's held off Wesley Stokes and is all over the back of Eric Friesen at the moment.
Noted British R&B singer Blade.
Noted R&B sensation Andy Blade. With his massive hit, Hammer Time.
Whoa.
Anyway, anyone surprising you with the performance so far here, Byron? Anyone running a little bit high, running a bit low for your expectation?
I am shocked and appalled that Andy Blade is above 13th place. I thought we had an agreement.
I thought we did too. But Andy Blade is in 7th place right now. We're getting a little bit of the special cameras there, courtesy of Martin Edmonds. So thank you, Martin.
Specialcameras.com. Probably don't go to that website. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Probably not. No, I feel like that's probably a People Top website right there.
That seems like a thing you might not want to sign up for.
Indeed. But I can recommend FiestaPale.com.
I don't know if you want to do that.
Just to prove that it's a thing.
I suppose. Make sure to let us know about your particular Fiesta Pale experience in the comments below.
Andy Blade all over the back of Eric Friesen. Wesley Stokes has dropped back a little bit. Maybe honestly just hoping that these two will take each other out. That's a really cool shot there of Andy getting down the inside into turn 1. Very nice. but it looks like Eric Friesen is going to hold the position for now, as James Butler is kind of separated from... Actually, it looks like Jesse Hampton's either had an incident or probably in the pit lane, judging by the fact that he's still dropping. So I think Jesse Hampton's been into the pits to take his fuel stop. We are in the general vicinity of when the fuel stop should be occurring. A bit weird, though, because Jesse historically is one that goes, oh, Andy Blade taps the back of Eric Friesen, and it works out poorly for him. But I'll tell you who it worked out for. Wesley Stokes is in sixth place.
Tap that ass.
Andy Blade probably being dragged in front of the stewards, which means being dragged in front of himself, so that'll be interesting.
We'll have him flogged immediately.
Enrique Hervas went up, so Wesley Stokes has claimed 3 spots on this lap. He is making the ground up and is now in the top 5.
He is a driving machine. He may, in fact, be non-human or possibly fueled by possum juice.
He may be the 6 billion peso man.
Whoa.
And looks like Enrique would like that 5th place back. Thank you very much. He went off the track, gave up the spot. Now he would like it back. It was just a rental for Wesley Stokes.
Noted Basque separatist Enrique Hervas.
Let's
Possibly
not.
not.
Let's
Possibly
not get into
not.
trouble.
Listen, I'm not speaking Spanish. They won't know.
I'm sure they have translators.
I suppose they might.
Wesley Stokes in the pit lane to take his first full pit stop of the race. Kind of waiting to see. It looks like Vinnie Roberts is also in the pit lane, as well as Andy Blade. Stoppmill stays out, Edmonds stays out, Hervas, Friesen, and Butler stay out. So the top 5 have yet to pit. I'm not sure if everybody else is in, but it looks probably like it. So James Butler, the Division 3 driver, getting to race up in 5th place for a little bit, and a drive-through penalty speeding in the pit lane for Vinnie Roberts.
I think he saw what looked like Reese Evans out there on the track and wanted to go get his autograph as quickly as possible.
I mean, that's fair. I would totally take that as a event. Man, James Butler is surprisingly close to Eric Friesen, and a drive-through penalty speeding the pit lane for Nathan Edward.
My
oh no!
God.
It's just getting worse for the British right now.
Aren't you people supposed to know how to drive?
I mean, that's the idea. I don't know what else to say on the matter, but we've had 2 speeding in the pit lane penalties for the British drivers. The only one that has done a successful pit stop is John Barker. We'll see who comes in this lap, because we're still waiting on Stoppmill, Edmonds, Hervas, Friesen, and Butler to make their pit stops. By the way, despite speeding in the pit lane, Vinnie Roberts lost a spot to Andy Blade.
That's madness.
It's insanity. Either that or Andy didn't pit or something. I don't know. I'm a little confused if Andy pitted or if Andy just made a mistake and went off the track.
I mean, both are probably possible. Probably
Because he seems to have gotten an absolute dynamite pit stop if he has pitted, because he's overtaken Vinnie Roberts, Travis Wallace, Wesley Stokes, Martin Edmonds, although it looks like Martin just got a shitty pit stop by the looks of it because he's behind Jesse Hampton. Eric Friesen in the pit lane, as well as Enrique Hervas. James Butler also in the pit lane. And it looks like so is Mike Stoppmill. So this should put everybody at 1 pit stop apiece. Andy Blade's in the pits. Okay, so it looks like Andy made a mistake as opposed to had a dynamite pit stop.
Or both.
Phases through another car then.
He went in for 1 of them corn dogs. It's like the scene from the beginning of Talladega Nights. It was like, you guys really should try one of these burgers.
Alright, so Mike Stoppmill has resumed in 1st place ahead of Travis Wallace, Martin Edmonds. Looks like Vinnie Roberts might be serving his stop and go, or his drive-through penalty. Indeed he is. There it is. For speeding in the pit lane. Unfortunate for the man who was running in 2nd place, and really unfortunate for us because that means Mike Stoppmill's got himself a lead. Yeah. And you and I have been doing enough of these commentaries to know that when Mike Stoppmill gets a lead, Does he ever give that lead up?
I haven't seen it yet. I think, did Caleb Gonzalez pass him one time, maybe? I don't know.
What I mean is once he gets clear, he stays clear. Like,
yep.
You can't make up seconds on this man.
It's because of all the cocaine.
Andy Blade has had a bit of a bad pit stop because he's rejoined behind John Barker, actually, in 11th place. So Andy Blade, closer to where we're used to seeing him. And so after the pit stops, we got Mike Staubmill leading from Travis Walls, Martin Evans, Enrique Hervas, Wesley Stokes, Jesse Hampton, really good pit stop, up to 6th place. Eric Friesen, James Butler, Vinnie Roberts, who's had to serve a drive-through penalty, John Barker, Andy Blade, who is on your screen right now, Sean Kenny, Josiah Jerome, Nathan Edward, who may or may not have served his drive-through penalty, I'm not sure, Dominic Dornenberg, who is probably the guy who's a bit off sequence right now. He made that early pit stop for presumably damage, so we don't know where he is in terms of fuel strategy, so that could be something to look at for the remainder of the race.
I think he's probably just full of gas.
Maybe not. Andy Blade putting the pressure on John Barker, a battle of longtime Division II rivals, Andy Blade and John Barker. Both men of few words, but when they speak, you should listen. Except for Andy. Just ignore Andy.
I ignore Andy most of the time. He's very, very Orkney.
I would agree with that statement.
And I hear he smells like haggis. But he doesn't actually eat it, which makes it weird.
It makes it that's very weird, yeah. In the background there is the SD suspension car of Sean Kenny. I don't think we've seen Sean Kenny really this whole race up until now, so very quiet day for him. Oh, John Barker. Very off the track there. And that is going to let Andy Blade back into the top 10.
John up the wrong tree, Barker.
Also dropping in behind Sean Kenny. Wesley Stokes putting the pressure on Enrique Hervas, trying to crack the Spaniard. And himself a little bit off there. Oh, wait, that's Josiah Jerome, who's actually very off. So
Josiah Jerome in the Andy Blade position.
Yeah, Josiah Jerome is on the charge. Qualified P4, so we know he's got pace. Don't know what happened in that first stint, to be honest. And he's on the tail of John Barker, trying to get up in 12th position. It's just been a terrible race for Josiah Jerome. There's just really no other way to put it.
I would agree, and I blame the teachers.
I would say that Josiah Jerome has been a sterling student of the academy.
Exactly, that's why I blame the teachers.
Honestly, if we could just get him an actual computer, he'd probably be amazing.
Yeah, listen, if we can get this man to not race on an abacus, help a brother out.
Sean Kenny has overtaken Andy Blade, and Andy is trying to get back on the crossover here. Can he retake 10th place? I think he can. So Sean Kenny showing some life here in the second stint of the race. Vinnie Roberts all over the back of James Butler at the moment. That is for 8th place. Ignore the fluctuating car. That's John Picha, who is apparently having some connection issues.
You mean that he may or may not drop off the tree from time to time?
He may be a little bit overripe.
Oh, snap.
He may be bruised, but he still tastes sweet.
Whoa. Graphic.
Indeed.
Demonetized.
We're monetized to begin with.
That is correct. We get ourselves up to 1,000 subscribers.
Spread word to your friends. Get us monetized. That'd be great.
Il Monitorio. We get YouTube to pay for the Discord.
Yeah, totally, 100%. Wesley Stokes putting the pressure on Enrique Hervas, trying to find his way up into 4th place. And Hervas, got a little squirrely there. He's going to let Wesley Stokes through. He's got a little squirrely there. Travis, you might want to pick up some of those squirrels. That'd be a worthwhile investment.
Man, drop some squirrels.
He's still on Wesley's tail, though, so he's recovered pretty nicely. Might yet get back up into 4th place. Enrique Hervas is a fighter every inch of the way in these cars, and just not a guy you really want to tango with. And he's up the inside. He has forced his way there. Oh, he's getting squirrely again.
All the
And
squirrels.
that is going to save Wesley Stokes 4th place for now. That cannot be good for the tires. By the way, Jesse Hampton, 6th place. I believe I said that before, but a massive shout out to Jesse. Fantastic race so far.
Moose and squirrel.
The complete opposite of the race that has been had by Josiah Jerome, who is 9 spots down on his grid position and having a rough time. Looks like Dominic Dornenberg is into the pits for his first pit stop for fuel. He did a damage pit stop earlier on. So, I don't know. Maybe he can turn the being off strategy to his advantage, but I'm just not sure that there's much there for Dornenberg at the moment. Eric Friesen on the tail of Jesse Hampton hasn't found his way around yet. Hervas is now dropped a little bit behind Wesley Stokes, who is coming around to complete yet another lap of the Slovakia Ring in the ST suspension car. Leading there in 4th position, Mike Stopmill is now 11 seconds up the road from Travis.
I mean, that's pretty average for him.
Really cursing that drive-through penalty for Vinnie Roberts right now.
Yeah.
Which has left him down in 9th position, trying to get past James Boutelier. Eric Friesen, for his part, is trying to make a move here on Jesse Hampton. Hampton has been the master of stretching like fuel loads and pit strategies and stuff. Seems to be the man always off strategy. He's a bit off strategy in an unusual way today, though. I think he was the first one to pit for fuel, as opposed to being the last one, as he usually is. But losing a spot there to Eric Friesen, who's up in new 6th position. Friesen has been very, very quick. This has been a huge rebound series for Eric Friesen. He was not good in the Formula Juniors, and he has resurrected himself here in the F4.
Well, I mean, if you race Formula Seniors, you get a discount, right?
Whoa! Mike Stopmill has disappeared.
That's a bit weird.
He has disappeared. He's not out there.
So goddamn fast. He's not measurable anymore.
Mike Stopmill's car has gone plaid and is no longer registering on our position chart.
He's gone reverse Doppler.
He has gone so fast that the radar can no longer read him. And that has given Travis Wallace the lead.
A substantial lead, thank you very much.
A substantial lead of almost 9 seconds over Martin Edmonds. And I mean, the longer this race goes, the less threatening Martin becomes, because, you know, those tires become closer and closer to poutine.
So, Travis, in the comments, if you let us know, how much did you pay him to take a dive?
Clearly
and
paid
was
him
it entirely
a lot.
in squirrels?
This also has promoted Wesley Stokes up onto the podium, so it'd be nice to see Wesley get a podium in his return. So I, for one, am going to look on the bright side. By the way, I'm proud to announce that Mike Stopmill will be joining my F3 team for next season, so we're in business now.
What do the 3 F stands for?
The 3F stands for, things that you don't really want to say.
Fornication, fudgesicles, and fanny packs.
The fanny packs one I did not see go. Enrique Hervas on the tail of Wesley Stokes, trying to grab that podium spot that has become open with Mike Stopmill. Vinnie Roberts is eating into James Butler at a very rapid rate, so he is still a man to watch. By the way, Vinnie Roberts on our screen now, as he has joined the fight between Jesse Hampton and James Butler over 6th place. We'll see if he can get the round. I imagine he is notably faster than these two cars. You know, was in 2nd place, was looking at a potential battle with Mike Stopmill for the lead, and man, he's got to be feeling the shame of that speeding the pit lane penalty now, because with Stopmill out, you would have probably put big money that Vinnie Roberts was going to bring this one home.
I would certainly agree if I weren't also privy to the fact
James
that
Butler
I
off in the infield.
paid James Butler to do that on camera.
Oh boy. The bribe was handed over like Dana White bribing Greg Hardy's opponents.
The check is in the mail.
Indeed. In the meantime, Martin Edmonds is actually catching up to Travis Wallace at a rate of about 1/10 a lap, so I don't know, maybe something will happen there. We still do have plenty of time. We're 28.5 minutes to go. We are approaching the 2nd pit stop that we should see here today. Sean Kenny in 9th place. Now he's had a quietly solid race. Josiah Jerome's coming back through the grid. He's overtaken Nathan Edward and John Barker. He's now to 11 spots. So he might be a bit of a danger man now that he seems to have found his groove.
I think we need to get a new mod for Raceroom, which changes all of the engine sounds into audio clips from Leroy Jenkins.
By the way,
everybody starts off with Leroy.
Speaking of Leroy Jenkins, I think Sean Kenny may have just pulled a Leroy Jenkins move on Andy Blade there.
That is true.
And has taken 8th place away from Mr. Blade. It's dangerous to be playing with the Blade like
Mr. Andrew Blade quickly, just easing back into that nice 13th spot, very comfortable for him.
I still got James Butler, Josiah Jerome, John Barker, and Nathan Edwards standing between him and his home in 13th place. Enrique Hervas still trying to put the pressure on Wesley Stokes, but it's eased up a little bit. I mean, it's the gap is widened to about a half second from being more or less bumper to wing there for a while. Andy is trying to get back past Sean Kenny. I mean, he can't let a Scouser beat him like this, can he?
He shouldn't, but he might have to.
You're saying he doesn't have the ability to stop the Scouser?
He might not have enough antiseptic to get rid of the Scout's mouth.
I mean, he could threaten him with like 6 tier 1 penalties.
He could, but I'm pretty sure that Martin might beat him.
Might, but you never know in his shot.
There's a chance.
Eric Friesen, by the way, up into 4th place there over Enrique Hervas. Looks like Hervas is not near up to the pits. I think he went off the track again. So, things getting complicated for Enrique Hervas at the moment. And that has allowed Eric Friesen up into 4th position.
Friesenberg strikes again.
Sean Kenny is now behind Andy Blade. Blade got him.
Dun, 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 dun.
It is now Andy Blade versus Sean Kenny. And they got Enrique Hervas ahead of them. I think Hervas has got a problem. He is dropping like a stone. Didn't go in the pit lane, though. What is he doing? He's dropped all the way back to 9th place from 4th.
I couldn't tell you.
I'm trying to cite if there's any damage on the car, but I'm not seeing anything. But that has allowed positional gains for Eric Friesen, Jesse Hampton, Vinnie Roberts, Andy Blade, and Sean Kenny. We will see if he drops back from this battle or if he can keep with it, because he definitely has the pace. Sean Kenny looking down the inside of Andy Blade. Unable to get the job done on this particular occasion. Hervas is dropping back, not at an alarming rate, but at a relatively steady rate. There is definitely something wrong with that car.
Well, you see what the problem is. You put the spark plugs in upside down, you put the Quaker State in the Castrol car, and it all goes hell.
You could be right. You know what? I'm actually a little disappointed there are no Quaker State liveries in this game.
Is there not? Was it some sort of oil prejudice?
Just don't have one. I would like to include that and also additional BP oil.
No, that's
liveries. Hey, I like the BP oil liveries. I don't support the company. In the meantime, Josiah Jerome is going down the inside of James Butler, a battle of Academy drivers.
And everybody goes along.
And it looks like Josiah Jerome has got it. This is a battle between the championship leader in the 201 class, and I think James Butler is the championship leader in the 101 class. So that's an interesting side note there, although I believe actually Butler may not be in the lead. It is Nathan Edwards who's in the lead. James Butler, of course, had that disastrous stow round to open up the season where he took out Adil from Cali, and that definitely compromised his score count. Jesse Hampton into the pit lane, so he was the first one in last time, first one in this time. I'm always interested to see what Jesse can do, because Jesse does, I don't know what Jesse it is, thinks. But Jesse Hampton is one of the best guys when it comes to fuel management in ESR. So
hashtag just Jesse thinks.
Indeed. But for now, I think he's pitting too early, so I don't know if you can get 23 plus minutes on a... you know what? If he makes it work, he makes it work. We've seen great things from Jesse before, like a full, one less pit stop than people in the past. as James Butler gets a free spot there on one of the ST suspension cars going very off the track there. That was Josiah Jerome having some distinct problems. So this day continues to be very inconsistent for him. Sean Kenny's up to 6th place as Andy Blade is in the pit lane, I do believe. If I'm Enrique Hervas, I'm thinking about a pit stop real soon because his car seems to have fixed whatever gremlins it had. He's keeping with Sean Kenny now, but I don't know. It's just been really weird. So Enrique, if you could let us know in the comments below what the heck happened to your car, man, because you were looking real good and then suddenly not really all that good.
Well, I mean, he ran out of sangria, so he had to put it in autopilot and refill the jug. That's what it was.
And now he seems to have picked up the pace once again. And at the front, Travis Walls has taken about a second and a half out of Martin Edmonds since the last time we looked at that particular matter, as James Butler trails Andy Blade. It looks like Blade did not pit, just made a mistake that has dropped him really off the back end. This is the second time that's happened when we've had, like, in the pit stop phase, I thought Andy Blade had pitted, only to realize he probably just went off the track.
He's not pitting, he's just a little special.
Hervas has gotten back past Sean Kenny into 6th place. Vinnie Roberts is now in the top 10, so he is charging. He might be the only one with any real chance of catching Travis Wallace as he hits the pit lane now to theoretically feel for the end of the race. Although it is going to be very, very tight on fuel, I think these guys are going to have to save some fuel, and I suspect we may see some 3 pit stop strategies come into play here.
So what you got to do is the best prank ever. If you're really good at fuel management, figure out how long you could just circle the track and then run out of gas just before getting in the pit lane and then block everybody else.
I mean, we did have that.
Jesse, there's a challenge for you.
We did have something similar to that. I mean, it wasn't a speeding the pit lane for Wesley Stokes.
What the hell?
Drive-through penalty for a man who was looking at a podium run. It's terrible. James Butler under pressure from Andy Blade. Butler was one of the last guys to pit last round of pit stops, so I expect him to be out there a while. The other guys that I believe went really deep were Enrique Hervas, and I want to say John Barker went really deep as well, but I may be misremembering. So let's see how the pit stops fuel out here as Andy Blade under putting the pressure on James Butler as they near their, in theory, final pit stop for fuel. Down the inside goes Andy Blade, and it looks like Butler successfully defended.
Well done.
Instead, we're getting a look at Sean Kenny for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there.
Yeah, because you can see the background. Andy is still in a fight with him. Like, just stick with this fight, please.
You know, 1/10 of a second away from the guy. You might want to just stick in that area.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And we're coming to a pit stop. Is Butler going into the pits? He's getting kind of wide towards. Oh no, it's Andy that's going to pit. So there we go. Andy Blade in the pit lane. Sean Kenny, I think, is in the pit lane. I believe there was a car ahead of Sean Kenny. Someone else is coming in behind them. Not sure who that would be.
Sean the Letter Kenny.
Sean the Letter Kenny. That is Sean Kenny in the pit lane now. John Barker, Andy Blade in the pit lane. Vinnie Roberts is in the pit lane. That's who's one of the ones that's in there now is. Martin Edmonds has taken the lead as Travis Wallace has made his pit stop. You know what, Martin? I'm not sure if Martin's well served by going for long stints. We poke fun at the tire problem, and we will continue to do so because I'm not sure how good of an idea this is.
Oh my God!
Speeding the pit lane for Enrique Hervas. Oh no!
The next person to speed in the pit lane gets international sanctions. It's not even an option.
It's getting. What is that now? 4?
6.
4? 6. Oh Jesus!
It's about 6.
Jesse Hampton behind Enrique Hervas, but Hervas with the speeding in the pit lane penalty will make that kind of academic, as it looks like we're on board with Nathan Edward for reasons.
Indeed. I think Mike Stoffmill should have full clearance to just drive at full speed through the pit lane at all times, just to, as a further handicap. You can't even stay on the track. You have to do the track and the pit lane. That might be a little odd.
It is a little bit weird.
Since he already has to tow a trailer with 2 ponies and a child in it.
Indeed. Jesse Hampton putting the pressure on Hervas. Well, he really doesn't have to. Hervas has that drive-through penalty. So we still haven't had the fuel stops pan out. We got Martin Edmonds, Eric Friesen, and James Butler going very deep. So they've got to pit. Speaking of which, there is Eric Friesen in the pit lane. Martin Edmonds is in the pit lane. Is James Butler going to get to lead a race?
I thought he did lead at one point in one race, and then it all.
No, he's in the pit lane. He will not get to lead.
Well, not now, no.
Travis Wallace has resumed the lead of the race as the cars are settling their pit stop strategies. Oh, he's led Academy races for sure, but I meant like an ESR main series race.
But I mean,
drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Martin Edmond. No more poutine for you.
Have you deported back to fucking Tabernacland?
You were in a comfortable second place and you sped in the pit lane.
Horrendous.
So Vinnie Roberts, after that early speeding in the pit lane penalty, the first one to get it, it looks like everyone else has gotten out of his way and he's probably going to get second place here.
It does. It looks like it's all coming up Wallace.
To be honest, it was coming up Wallace when Stoffmill dropped out.
Your boy T-Wall. It's your boy Travis Wallhacks Wallace.
Indeed. Eric Friesen had a bad pit stop there. He's dropped back to 11th place. So, not great pit work by the Exide battery team with their lead car in the absence of Mike Stoffmill. I will say someone did a great job in the pit lane, though, and that's James Butler, who's up into 6th position.
James Boudelier? The man himself?
Indeed. By the way, Jesse Hampton's up into 4th place. Having a fantastic day. I really hope he doesn't have to pit again.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be embarrassing, because he's off sequence with everyone in pit stops. Coming in early. Both rounds of pit stops. Does he have the gas to make it to the end? How much is he going to have to save? Because everyone else is, in theory, going to be able to push harder unless he can get that fuel consumption number down without losing pace.
Well, I mean, I myself have an issue at times consuming fuel at a rapid pace, but, you limit yourself. You had a little self-control, and it's all right.
For those unaware, of course, you can modulate your fuel usage in a race car based on basically the time you're on the throttle. You can lift and coast into corners and such, and can stretch a fuel load. And I think Jesse's going to have to do that. Not sure how that's going to play with Sean Kenny very, very close to his rear end there. Vinnie Roberts into 2nd place as Martin Edmonds is in the pit lane. There he is, serving his drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that's a podium position for Jesse Hampton if he can get it to the end.
Get him, ham sandwich.
Eric Friesen moving up the inside of Josiah Jerome. Trying to make it into 10th position there for the Exide battery crew. Josiah is not giving up, though. And just ahead of them is Enrique Hervas, who I think has served his drive-through penalty, but I'm not 100% certain.
I think he's refused to serve penalties because he is a goon.
I mean, it's possible. Martin Edmonds dropping down to 7th place there after his penalty. He's right on the tail of Andy Blade. Blade versus Edmonds. Round 375. And kind of anticlimactically, Martin just slides past like an eel. No, Andy's coming back at him. Andy is not done with that 6th place battle. Andy, 13th place is calling you, man. Come on, you gotta go back there with like Dominic Dornenberg and company.
Indeed, you gotta hover back around there. Mr. Edwards is a little lonely. You need somebody to prop him up, carry him from behind.
Mm-hmm. You know, this race has really turned bad for Wesley Stokes, though. It looks like his drive-through penalty dropped him way back. He's 20-some seconds behind Dominic Dornenberg, who is almost a minute behind Nathan Edward. That's a very promising race that's been very much derailed for Wesley Stokes.
He should probably get back in the saddle.
At one point, looks like he was on for a podium. Now it's looking like he's going to be beating John Peachin. That's about it. Actually, I believe Dornenberg has a pit stop to do, so perhaps he'll be able to overtake Dornenberg, but that's about it.
I don't know what Wesley's back issues were, but I had a ruptured disc in my lower spine area. So, yeah, no, I understand. Back problems, not fun, not good at all.
Yeah, I can relate as well with my own fusing problem down in the lower back area.
Well, that's just because you made it of metal and you're rusting and corroding and stuff's all merging together.
I mean, that's not untrue. Andy Blade all over the back end, and Martin Edmonds looking to go down the inside into turn 1. Can he make the job happen, or will there be contact? There was a little contact there.
Next person to get a drive-through penalty has to try and invade Area 51.
I think we're good on the drive-through penalties because I think only Dornenberg and possibly Hampton have a pit stop left. I'm hoping Jesse doesn't, because Jesse Hampton on the podium would be great. Give it a big cheer because me and Jesse have had a lot of really good battles. Really have appreciated his presence on the track, and it'd be nice to see him get a podium. But I have concerns about where his fuel is right now.
Travis Walhack's currently 23 laps ahead of anybody else in the entire world.
It's only 27 seconds ahead of Vinny Ryan.
No, it's not. It says it's lap 23 laps ahead. That's what that says. What happens? So, for those of me that don't know anything about racing, the drive-through, do they have to just like go back and do the pit lane again at regular ass speed, or
you have to go back through the pit lane at the pit lane speed limit, which is it variables, but 45 kilometers an hour usually.
Yeah, and so you have like, do you have like a certain like 2 or 3 laps to serve that in?
3 laps. 3 laps.
Yeah.
Andy Blade was getting up the inside of Martin Edmonds there, but we cut to Eric Friesen, who, is catching up to Enrique Hervas, and I appreciate that and all, but I'd rather watch the battle for 6th place. And here it is, Martin Edmonds up the inside of Andy Blade, heading into, I believe this is the final turn. And...
No, man, there's 10 minutes left.
Final turn of the lap. Because this, right here, you can see the pit lane right there, and, heading on to start finish straight. This is the one where you were laughing, because, like, you can see that turn, everyone going way off.
Everybody's just swooping off. Like, what the hell's happening? They're going into the pits. Oh.
No, that's not even the pit lane, that's just the turn, that's just how deep the turn goes.
Oh, yeah.
Martin Edmonds putting the pressure on Andy Blade. A battle between the two head admins of ESR. Things can get a little testy there. Eric Friesen on the tail of Enrique Hervas with Josiah Jerome and Nathan Edwards. Nathan Edwards coming into his own a little bit, actually. And now, you remember how I was talking about Jerome versus Butler being the two Academy, the big Academy battle? Mm-hmm. We now have the 101 championship leader trailing the 201 championship leader by less than a second. So, this is interesting.
Oh, there's a new, the whole raid of Area 51 thing?
Mm-hmm.
There's a new, Europeans are like, hey, we want to end this action. Let's do a raid the Vatican. I think this would be awesome.
Probably would be more exciting, actually.
More successful. And more lucrative.
Certainly more lucrative. I don't know about actually more successful. The Vatican is one of the most secure places on the planet.
Yeah, but they got Swiss people protecting what are they going to do, neutralize people?
Yes, very neutralized.
Oh, shit. Well, never mind that.
Very neutralized.
Abort.
James Butler is all over the back of Jesse Hampton. This is a battle for a podium between two guys who were Division 3 not too long ago, having a fantastic race right now. Jesse now a Division 2 driver. James Butler looking at a promotion to Division 2. They are in a battle here for a podium. It's fantastic. Can Butler get around him? Can Jesse get to the end on the fuel he's got? I mean, that's the other big question right now.
Go squeeze that possum juice.
And the man in the catbird seat there is Sean Kent.
Jonathan Kenneth, the 14th Esquire.
At some point, it looks like Kenny lost a spot to Butler, so he must have made a mistake. And it is Enrique Hervas versus Eric Friesen. battling over 9th place. Can Friesen get the job done against the Spaniard? The answer is a solid maybe.
It's a firm
It's a firm maybe. It's bringing Josiah Jerome and Nathan Edward, the 2 cars back there, into this fight more and more, though. In the meantime, not in the meantime. Hervos trying to get up the inside there. Sean Kenny is now on the tail of Hampton. Butler on the podium. Butler on the podium.
Oh, wait, that's sorry. I'm mixing up my metaphor.
I think Jesse is saving fuel. I think, unfortunately, Jesse Hampton's having to save fuel because he's lost 2 spots on this lap already. And Butler is vanishing up the street, and so is Sean Kenny.
He's sandbagging because he just wants to give Andy some hope and then just crush him.
Well, Andy Blade is next up on the list to try to get past Jesse Hampton. Enrique Hervos in the fight with Eric Friesen there. John Barker up the road. So John Barker quietly has put together a pretty good race there in 8th place.
Leader of the world-famous band, the John Barker Trio.
Martin Edmonds looking to get around Andy Blade, and they're coming up to Jesse Hampton, who we theorize is in fuel-saving mode because, well, you can see that Sean Kenny's already opened up a 1.2 second gap to Jesse, or a 2.1 second gap to Jesse Hampton. So, yeah, I can't imagine that Jesse's in good shape in fuel right now, and Andy is now right on his tail.
He's wheezing the juice, as they say in Shakespeare.
So, an unusual occurrence here. Jesse Hampton, usually the master of the fuel consumption, usually the guy who can make a tank of gas go real far. Not today. Not today. He loses 2 spots there. And James Butler is off the track. Butler has thrown the podium away.
He is buttled way too hard.
He is down to 8th place now and onto the podium. Everybody, rejoice. Prison guards of Liverpool, your boy's on the podium. Sean Kenny.
2-0? 3-0. Some kind of nil.
3-0.
To the mean machine.
Jesse Hampton down to 6th place. Can he get the car to the end? Because at this point, if he has to make a pit stop, he is screwed. As far as the result is concerned. Yeah, Wesley Stokes has caught up a lot to Dominic Dornenberg, so I'm wondering if that's just Dornenberg had made his final pit stop. Josiah Jerome, Nathan Edward having a good fight there. I'd love to look at that one. Battle of 2 Class Acts at the ESR Academy over 11th position. Martin Edmonds is on the tail of Eddie Blade. Eddie Blade's in 4th place. Can we just take a moment to appreciate that?
I mean, I'm just assuming he's dishing out $50 bills. Thank
All
you,
the $50
bills. Oh, yeah, no, thank you. Oh, this one's in the mail. Totally, thank you.
Guys, he's not actually going to mail you the money.
No, he's not. Don't get fooled by that.
Don't get fooled.
You're gonna get like a photocopy of a Monopoly money. Maybe you'll get a 50-cent Canadian Tire. Nobody else is gonna get that except like anybody with a Canadian flag on their jersey up here.
In the meantime, James Butler trying to get past John Barker, and they've got Jesse Hampton, who, again, probably running out of gas up ahead of them. It should be mentioned that, conspiracy theory for a moment here, Jesse Hampton and John Barker are teammates. They could use the running out of gas car of Jesse Hampton to hold up James Butler's Exide battery car.
Delightful. Oh, I got another conspiracy theory for you, but that's World of Tanks. I'll tell you after.
Okay. Well, my conspiracy kind of went out the door there as Butler just sweeps on past. By the way, James Butler is the top running car for Exide batteries here today. Eric Friesen is down in 9th place, and of course, Mike Stockmill retired. So that's a first.
There they go, majestically in flight, in formation. Oh, braking formation. No, you must stay in formation.
Well, I don't think they can. I think Jesse's running again. I think Jesse's out of gas, basically.
Jesse, you're not supposed to drink this stuff.
Martin Edmonds is up into 4th place ahead of Andy Blade. Deploy the plow. This has been the battle of the entire last third of this race. Martin Edmonds versus Andy Blade.
Who's gonna do the admin kick first?
Who is going to have their finger slip on the server and hit the kick button?
Oh no! You got removed from anything. That's a shame.
They're also catching Sean Kenny at an alarming rate, which makes me wonder what Sean Kenny's fuel is like. He may also be in a Jesse Hampton boat of running out of gas.
No, Kenneth Steen.
He's his lead is dropping very quickly. It's down to 0.3 of a second. Basically, he is the lead. Number 27 ST suspensions car. Martin Edmonds is next in line. Then it's Andy Blade. Is he out of gas? I think he may be. I think he might be. He just let Martin through into third place, and we'll see if he tries to hold up Andy Blade a little bit.
Sean, he's not going to send you the money. He's not going to do it. Don't fall for it.
You're also Martin's teammate, Sean. You got to do something for Martin. Gas is becoming a thing here, though, with 2.5 minutes to go. We know Jesse Hampton's dropping back. Hampton, by the way, losing a spot to Hervas. He's down to 10th. He has miscalculated the fuel. We think Sean Kenny might have also miscalculated the fuel and has Andy Blade all over the back. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Andy Blade following him down the front start-finish straight here, trying to look for an inside-outside move, maybe. He's going deep to the inside. Can he make it stick? I think he can. I think Sean at this point is just he's helpless. Oh no! Wide. Yes, he is helpless.
Yeah. He's off in the corner.
Oh God!
Oh Lord!
He's very off.
Help me, Jesus! Help me, Tom Cruise!
That's one of those cases where perhaps giving up the position would have been the better part of valor. There he is. Very slow moving, losing spots to Hervas, losing spots to Eric Friesen. James Butler's up to 4th. John Barker's up to 5th. Vinnie Roberts is dropping like a... Vinnie Roberts is in the pits, I think.
What?
He's down to 9th place from 2nd.
Slight miscalculation.
No, it looks like he's moving. I don't know if his pit stop might have been done, but he may have had to make another pit stop. I remember he had that same problem at Shanghai, which actually I've been making fun of him since the whole time, because if he had not lapped me, he would have actually finished the race.
Just draft, man. Just draft.
Exactly. He could have taken the draft, but he's like, oh, Mike's getting a blue flag. I'm gonna go around him, and then he has to pit to get fuel, and I'm like, ha! Andy Blade on the podium. What sort of horseshit is this?
I don't understand, and I'm mildly offended.
My whole vision of racing it's been destroyed.
Listen, everybody else that played in this race, they're not gonna kick you out if you don't let them win, and you're not gonna get the money in the
just as a side note, I think Josiah Jerome and Nathan Edward have also had to hit the pit lane again, because they are dropping back quite a bit.
Travis Wallace beyond Stoffmeal. There's a whole new level of lead right now. This is come on.
51 seconds.
What kind of ridiculous snot puking retard nonsense is this?
Travis Wallace has just said, I'm going to put the pedal to the metal. Andy Blade's off! Andy Blade is off!
That's more like it.
Andy Blade is throwing a podium away. James Butler is back on the podium.
That's to be expected. I kind of had the feeling that was going to happen.
John Barker is through as well. Andy is down to 5th position.
So if you hit a 50-second lead from now on, you'll be known as pulling the Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Or breaking the 4th Wallace.
Breaking the 4th Wallace is very good. Very good.
Because it's past 4.
Indeed. Andy has rejoined in 5th place, so he's still in for a good result, but he's got to be kicking himself right now. We are reaching the checkered flag here, heading towards the end. This is the final lap, everybody. It is Wallace, Edmonds, Butler, your podium, John Barker, Andy Blade, Eric Friesen, 6th place. We ride with him as we speak. Enrique Hervas behind him in 7th. Sean Kenny in 8th position, possibly having fuel problems. Vinnie Roberts had to make an extra pit stop, down in 9th place. Nathan Edward had to make an extra pit stop, down in 10th place. Dominic Dornenberg is up to 11th, so things have kind of come good for him towards the end of this race. And, oh my God, Jesse Hampton is now in dead last position.
I don't like that at all. Dislike. Everybody disliked that.
Indeed. Jesse, I believe, has also completed the race, as we do have a checkered flag that I believe represents Travis Walls having crossed the finish line, possibly having lapped
3 laps ahead
Jesse
of everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can see the gap going down, so yeah, he's definitely done. And Andy Blade trying to get around John Barker. He will not do it, though, towards the end of the line here. Martin Edmonds, James Butler, John Barker, Andy Blade, that's your top 5. Eric Friesen, Enrique Hervas, 7th position, ahead of Sean Kenny and Vinnie Roberts. Nathan Edward will come home in 10th place, so a good day, actually, for the 101 championship leader, although looks like he had to make an extra pit stop himself and has, as a result, dropped considerably far back.
I'm going to be honest with you, those are the 2 British guys I did not expect to finish at that point, at that high up in the rankings based on early race performance.
What, Nathan Edward and whom?
No, other way around. Like, Butler and Barker were...
Oh, Butler and Barker.
Yeah. Have you been smoking the weed?
I mean, Barker was pretty much... I don't know, Butler had a pretty good day. He got up there, he managed the pit stops really, really well. Got the job done.
A likely story.
I would say Nathan Edward came good towards the end as and
I definitely came up a few spots, yeah.
I think the issue was that he gave in and went for the pit stop at the appropriate time. I think a lot of other people tried to save gas to try to make it to the end. By the way, Wesley Stokes, I think, has run out of gas.
Correct.
Indeed, there you see it. Josiah Jerome and Jesse Hampton both ran. I think they may have run out of gas. Mike Stockmill also a DNF. And there is your final results. Travis Wallace and the Boss Racing Team take home the last race of the season ahead of Martin Edmonds, James Butler, John Barker, and Andy Blade. Castrol, even with the DNFs and the fuel shortages, Castrol still cannot deliver. What the heck? Come on, Castrol. Get your head out of your ass.
Pretty much.
So that is the entirety of the F4 season here for ESR. We're going to be heading to the F3 season next, so you can check that out on Race App, see what interesting liveries the teams will be sporting. And I think we're done for a little bit. We got an upcoming Porsche race this Saturday, and some more Academy action. And I think that's... and then we've got some ACC action. No, it's a practice round this week. So, yeah, no ACC action.
ADCC?
ADCC. I would win that.
No. I have the best head-on forehead guard.
Probably. You're a massive man. It's all power and destruction.
I'm just taunting. I put my hand on your forehead and just taunt you into going for a flying armbar or something, and then just watch you falling back.
I mean, it probably would happen. I don't think my legs are even long enough to flying armbar you.
Well, no. I mean, they're only 3 inches long each.
Harsh.
They're like Modoc.